In today's smoking episode, we're diving into the world of barbecue like never before. Watch as we Brits take on the challenge of smoking the perfect Dino Ribs, transform Brisket Off-Cuts into Delicious Tallow, sit down with the legendary Owl from Eat More Vegans, and of course, stick around for the all-important taste test at the end. So fire up those grills and let's get cooking. Greetings! We are back with our friends, Pitmaster, Owl from Eat More Vegans. If you didn't see the last video, check that out. Links in the description as always. Ow, what are we going to be doing today?
We are going to be cooking those monster beef ribs that you saw me do from Bar A Barbecue, the ones that you guys love from Terry Black, but better than Terry's because Bar A is the best I've ever had. Ooh. But we're not doing it on the stick burner. That's so weird.
Yeah.
All right.
No. We're not.
We are going to cook these on a pellet grill.
Really?
Okay.
And hopefully we're all surprised at how great they work. But I had never done this.
The jury's out.
The jury's out. So Cooper taught me this idea that you do this all night cold smoke at really low temperatures and just let it go. And then you bring the heat later, which is not how I learned to cook anything, really. And so we did it on the stick burner. And we published that a couple of months ago. And it was, I mean, it's so absolutely amazing. And I managed to get the stick burner to go all 9.5 hours all night, keeping temperature. I don't know if you can do that on a Franklin. You should try it on your Franklin, right?
We'll try it, yeah.
But not everybody has a pit that can handle like half a dozen splits and airflow and all of those things. You guys have watched the channel for a while. You know sometimes my cooks are amazing and sometimes I help everybody understand what not to do. And
we do that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a couple of your videos where you said, hey, you know what, if you get some chorizo, maybe don't do it this way.
It's the fire alarm.
As an example, but I think it's going to be polar. I don't think they're going to be okay. I think it's either going to be a horrible mistake.
Okay.
Or, oh my God, I can't believe you did that on a pellet grill.
I know a lot of our viewers have either got a pellet grill or offset, so I think it's going to be a really good idea to try this on the pellet today.
We're going to try it. And I have some really good news, and that is, if it turns out to be horrible, one of my friends has a barbecue joint and makes really good beef ribs, and I talked to him, he's making ribs tomorrow, so we have a backup plan.
Okay, that's
win-win. So win-win.
So if you've not checked out Owl's channel and you haven't seen that beef rib down on the stick burner, then make sure you check out Owl's channel and we'll link it down in the description.
Let's get smoking.
All right, Mrs. H.
Yes.
So last week, Mr. H got the privilege of trimming brisket.
I know, what a lot of trimming it is.
It was a lot of trimming, and we use privilege lightly. This is a lot easier, but you're gonna help me to prep the beef ribs, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do some prepping with you.
So I always flip and use the bottom for cutting. That way if I slip and I cut into the meat, then I'm not damaging anything that's gonna be on my presentation side.
That's a good tip.
And I'm just gonna cut in like an H pattern here.
From Mr. H.
That's exactly what, you know, I didn't realize that it was Mr. H and Friends pattern when I learned to do this 20 years ago, but now I finally feel fulfilled
that
it's the Mr. H, Mrs. H pattern for removing beef or pork from bags. Let's see what trimming we're gonna need here. So we've got a little bit of silver skin here, but not a lot. And there's a nice layer of fat right here. I don't know that we need to do really any trimming. I think I'm just gonna pull this piece of silver skin right here out. To do silver skin, I put the knife under, right in the middle, and then I cut forward. So it gives me a flap. I got a little bit of meat there, but it's not the end of the world. And then I can come back. Now I am breaking a rule and cutting towards myself.
But you're a pro. So
but I know what I'm doing, and I also know exactly how thick and how strong this stuff is. This stuff's not going anywhere.
So this silver skin is the stuff that it doesn't render down, does it?
It doesn't render down at all. It's not even paper. It's unbreakable. Now, once it gets hot and cooks, it'll become crispy and it'll flake off, but it will block the seasoning.
Oh,
so I'm taking off the, so where there's fat here, that fat is gonna render down and bring seasoning down. But the rest of this, we got like 4 pounds of fat and a couple pounds of meat off of the briskets. I think that's going to be our trim. That's it.
I like beef ribs. I'm going to buy beef ribs more often because
there you go.
Little work.
So seasoning these, well, you saw the Bar A video that I came out, right? This is all Cooper's formula. So we're going to start by flipping it over, and then we're going to do pepper, and then we're going to do this season it all. Okay? And that's all he does for seasoning. The rest of it is just smoke, so that's what we're doing.
And no binders whatsoever?
No binders. Like the meat is wet enough.
Okay.
It'll stick. That's how they did it, so that's how we're going to do it.
I like the sound of that.
So did you see how I taught Mr. H how to hold in his wrist and flick the stuff across?
I heard a few things that you were telling Mr. H on that one, but yeah.
Might have been a little dirty, but
Well,
that's, yeah, it might have been just a little bit. Okay, my hands are gross. You handle the seasoning. So go ahead and grab the pepper right here.
Pepper first, yeah?
Yep, and pop that open. You're gonna hold it up about this high.
Yep.
And then big motions back and forth. There you go. Big motions. You're doing great. That's perfect.
Is that not, that's not enough, is it?
It's okay, come back. So you're holding it a little bit down.
Okay.
Just hold it straight out like this.
Ah,
There
that's
you
easier.
go. There you go.
More?
All right, now you're good. Okay, we're gonna put more on the other side, but this
Okay.
side's good. And here's the season it all. And that one you just gotta twist that off. Same thing, up high in the air.
Here?
Yep, there you go. There you go. Come back forward now. Look at that pretty color. One more time back. So let's flip this over. And now we're gonna do the sides. Pepper first.
Pepper first.
And then let's do the season it all, the same thing. There you go.
Got
Good
your
coat
arm
on it.
as
That's
well.
all right. I'll be tasty. All right. Nice, healthy coat. There you go.
So
That's
you
the
guys
motion.
make this seem so easy. It's actually not as easy as it looks.
Well, it's years of practice. So now we're gonna do the presentation layer. So the meat layer up here with all the fat on top, this is gonna be the top when we cook it.
So I need to do this good.
So we need to do this one. We're gonna get a really nice healthy dose, probably make a couple of passes.
Okay.
All right?
We're ready.
Yep, let's do it. Good, let's go once back. You're doing amazing. Come back towards us
Oh,
again.
yeah,
We
and
do
again.
another whole pass again. Another whole pass back.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. All right, lots of pepper to make that bark.
So
All
is
right.
this more on this side because it is the like meatier side and then the underside is more rib?
That's all membrane.
Okay.
This stuff is going to penetrate all through all of that meat.
I've got you.
All right.
Right.
All right, big sweeping motions.
Oh, hang on, we got wind. Am I
There
getting
you
any
go.
on?
Nope, you're fine. So what if you get a little on me? Trust me, I've had lots of seasoning on me. Keep going. We want it to be basically orange when we're done.
Okay.
One more back. One more towards you, and then there we go. Okay.
I didn't think it was going to be that much seasoning, but I'm
It's-
trusted in the process.
So you've tasted beef ribs, you know how
have.
flavorful they are, you know that there's a lot of juiciness, some fat, some
Yep.
collagen that renders, and so this seasoning, especially this salt, is gonna cut through all that and make it a really pleasant experience as opposed to that kind of cloying, really fatty, kind of gross experience.
Oh, I can't wait already.
So, or we're doing it on a pellet grill, so it might do nothing, and we might just have a bunch of salt blowing around in a pellet grill and then have to go out for dinner tomorrow night.
I've got faith.
All right, so let's put this in the fridge. Let's let these flavors develop. And then that all night cook, that cold smoke, has to go for 9 hours. And I'm not really one for getting up super early in the morning, so maybe we'll start it at midnight.
Yep.
And then come back at 9 and see how it's doing.
Or have a few beers in between and...
Yeah, those are not mutually exclusive.
So we've got to get this one on the pellet smoker. So we will come back shortly, and I'm sure Mr. H and Alana will be back when these are ready as well.
Hopefully, Alana will probably be asleep at midnight when we put them on.
Well, have you seen her lately? She's been running around in circles, so
She
not
might
be.
still be up at midnight.
We might be asleep, but she'll be awake.
All right, well, maybe you come back at midnight and you guys can see Alana putting the beef rib on the smoker.
That was very cool.
Okay, midnight, the life that we lead, we stay up till midnight like young people. Well, you're a young person. But
Well, I
I'm
don't feel young anymore.
certainly not at this hour.
Not today.
So the plan is we're gonna get this started the same way that we did it on the stick burner, the same way that Cooper taught me. Now you saw Cooper teach me and you saw me do it on the stick burner because you
Yes.
saw that video. But for your benefit, if you haven't seen it and it's different on the pellet grill, we'll see how this works. The whole idea here is we're gonna keep it at 160 degrees
Yep.
in what Traeger calls super smoke mode, powering a lot of smoke onto it for 9 hours. And then we'll be back here at 9 o'clock in the morning and we'll see what it looks like. I mean, this may be a whole bunch of dirty smoke. Now, he also put the meat on before he lit the fire, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put the meat on, the grill's not even powered on yet, and so we're gonna capture the dirty smoke, the whole power up cycle, and see what happens.
Sounds good. So I've just noticed that from this one, it is a lot drier now that we've taken it out of the refrigerator.
It is. So refrigerators have fans. There's airflow in a refrigerator. That's how it keeps the food fresh.
Yeah.
Any moisture that was surface moisture or anything that's evaporated to the surface gets pulled out in a refrigerator. So when we do like overnight dry brines where we'll put salt on and keep it for 24 hours, that's why when it comes out of the refrigerator, it's perfectly dry, because as it pulls moisture out, it evaporates into the air with the fan from the refrigerator. So nothing different here. It won't be any difference in terms of how it cooks. It just doesn't have the surface moisture as if we had put it on. It's a really good question.
It looks good enough to eat already.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's going to look amazing. I don't know if it's going to taste amazing. It might taste like accurate smoke.
I'll give it a go.
Pretty sure it's going to look amazing when we look at it again. So I'm going to put a meter thermometer in here.
And you'll tell us later on in the cook, like how we can feel for those kind of things and like the pullback. Is
No, I don't tell that stuff. It's all secret. Just kidding. Of course.
I need to know.
I will answer any of your questions. One of the things I love about the barbecue business is everybody's so helpful. And so I get to travel around the country and learn from guys that are better than me and women who are better than me. And then I like to teach, whether it's on video or stuff like this. And so I'm not going to hold anything back.
Lovely.
There are no secrets. I want you to go back and try to recreate this.
We definitely want to go back and try to recreate. Well, even this I'd be happy with. Uncooked.
So let's see here. We're gonna put it on. Feels really weird to not have it running. I guess we'll close it down. Let's put some pellets in. All right, so while this powers on, we've got some pellets left from my last cook in here. And these are Bear Mountain oak pellets. So this is gonna be as close as we can get to that Texas post oak experience if we were cooking on an offset. So we're just gonna fill this up. This is a 25-pound hopper. This is gonna be more than enough to get us through our cook. The nice thing about the Traeger is it's got a pellet dump, so whatever we don't use, we'll just put back into this container and it'll work great.
That's one of the things I quite like, is the fact that with these you can set and forget it and just fill it up, leave it, no fire management to do.
Yeah, there is no fire management, and oftentimes if I need to change the temperature, if I'm doing a multi-stage cook, I will wake up, pull out my phone, see that I want the temperature changed, change the temperature, and then roll over and go back to sleep.
So much
That's
easier.
never gonna happen.
No.
In a stick burner or a Kamado or any of the other cookers that I cook with.
I guess I need one of these next.
There you go. Yes, you do. So let me show you what's happening over here. It says it's ready to cook. It's called the Death Star. The MF, you can use your imagination because Nick, who named it, has a dirty mouth. So we're gonna turn the temperature dial. Now we want it at 165, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna press. It's gonna tell me to press and hold, and I've got a glove on. So can you just press and hold that button and hold it? It's going to tell you that it's starting up. There you go. It's going to light and it's going to come up to 165 degrees. It's going to put all kinds of dirty smoke on there. As soon as it's up to temperature, we're going to hit the super smoke button and turn the super smoke on. So it's going to get as much smoke as it can.
Okay.
So we're going to try to replicate that Cooper cook. Then it's time to go to bed now.
Well, I'm getting pretty knackered, but I've got a question. So knackered, shattered, tired? That's a UK term.
Okay, got it. All right.
Dirty smoke.
Yes.
We're not worried about dirty smoke.
We're only not worried about dirty smoke because Cooper Abercrombie, who made the best beef rib I've ever tasted, isn't worried about dirty smoke.
If it's good enough for him?
I said to him, wait a minute, Cooper, what about all those YouTubers who talk about getting the smoke clean before you put the meat on? And he said, look at their product and decide which one you want to eat. It was the only thing that he said that wasn't humble the entire time I was there, and he was right. It really was amazing. And when I did it in the stick burner, it was as dirty as it gets. I mean, we put the beef rib on, we lit a fire, and it was pouring what I would normally be horrified by. And we went to bed. And 9 hours later, we came back, and it was still going, and we heated it up and we cooked it, and it was the best beef rib I've ever made.
It looked fantastic.
If this whole dirty smoke thing is a scam, like if they were lying to us about this and actually dirty smoke makes it better, that's gonna change everything on YouTube.
You heard it here first.
Yes, we're gonna find out.
Okay, so it's the next day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
No, it smells amazing already.
Just had our first coffee as well. Cannot wait. I am super pumped to see this.
So no idea what this is gonna look like because I haven't done this before on this grill. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Do the
We're ready.
honors?
Yeah?
Go on.
Go on then. Go. Oh, whoa.
Look at that.
So this has got some nice color on it. It
does look
really
good.
did take a bunch of smoke.
That looks good. Great bark, isn't it? That.
It does, it feels like the bark is set.
Yeah.
It's a little different color than what we saw on the stick burner, but
that is set, but it's got like a little bounce to it as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
One of the important things for us is to get that feel.
Yeah.
You know what it feels like.
that's right.
Because there's one thing seeing it on a YouTube channel, and there's another thing actually seeing
Whole other thing doing it, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Like we talked about, we use the temperature and the thermometer as a guide.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's really all about what does it look like, what does it feel like to know when it's done.
Wow.
So we're going to develop that experienced hand on you. The Mr. H. Yeah, there you go.
I know, that smells awesome.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Again, really appreciate this opportunity to do this because this is invaluable.
Absolutely. So you remember what we do next, right?
Yep.
We're going to crank up the temperature.
Yep.
And try to render all this stuff. So now we're done really with getting primary smoke. Now it's about getting it cooked, right?
Fantastic.
Crank this up to 275 degrees, which is way easier on here than it is on the stick burner where we're moving fire and air, right?
Yeah.
So cool. All right. You've never done this before?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
This is so simple.
Is it?
Yes, so first thing we're gonna do is cut up the fat. Second thing, we're gonna grind up the fat, and we're gonna put it in a pot with some salt and some water, and we're gonna throw it in the oven at 200 degrees for about 4 hours and let it separate. And then we'll come back and we'll strain it, it'll be perfect.
Wow.
All right? So what we got now is, this is the trimmings from both of our briskets. What we wanna do is take and separate the meat and the fat, and then we wanna cut the fat into pieces that are gonna fit down the hole in the meat grinder, right? So about this size. All we're gonna do is dice it up the same way. So when you get to a piece with meat, don't worry if there's too much meat. Even a little bit of meat left on the fat is fine, right? But if you've got all meat, all we're gonna do is dice it up the same way. Instead of throwing it into the grinder, we're gonna throw it over here into the bowl.
Would that be used for sausage then?
That will be used for sausage. So if you get back to North Carolina fast enough, did you say you like jalapeno cheddar, right?
Jalapeno cheddar, yes.
All right, so we'll make jalapeno cheddar, or maybe since we're in the Carolinas, maybe we'll use a Reaper pepper. That'll be a spicy sausage,
Yeah, that
won't
would
it?
be very spicy.
All right, so when I met Barrett Black in Texas, and we were talking about his smoker. So the smoker at Black's Barbecue was the one his grandfather, great-grandfather built.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, so as part of the secret here, the smoker. And he said, nope, you give me a Weber kettle, I'll still make you the best brisket you ever tasted.
Wow.
And you know what? Like, that speaks to talent, that he doesn't care, right?
Yeah.
Now, it'll probably be easier for him working on the pit that his great-grandfather built, or a pit like we've got here, right? But if I ever get to the point where I've made 10% of the briskets that Barrett Black has made, then maybe I'll be able to do that on a Weber kettle. In the meantime, I need fancy stuff.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna turn this on.
And again, this is very cool. I've seen this a lot on different barbecue videos, but it's nice to actually see one in the flesh and actually use one.
I feel like you need one. So what we're gonna do is move the fat from here into here, where we're gonna be able to melt it down in the oven.
Right.
Have as much fun with it as you'd like. All right. Tell me that's not strangely satisfying.
There is something strangely satisfying about that.
So you know you can use tallow to make soap.
Really?
Japanese women put it on their skin, and like, as a
Really?
generalization, they have pretty good skin, so
Yeah.
maybe they're onto something. That's about 4 pounds of fat that we put in. So for each pound of fat we put in, we want to put in a cup of water, and we want to put in 1 tablespoon of Morton's kosher salt.
Okay.
All right, so let's do 4 tablespoons. We don't have to be exact. Now what happens with the kosher salt here is that this is gonna help when it simmers. We're not gonna boil it, we're gonna simmer it. It's gonna help separate impurities. So when we're done, we're gonna have fat, and we may have some water left, it may have mostly evaporated off, but we're gonna be able to use a separator to get the impurities from the pure tallow. So this is 4 cups, I'm just gonna pour the 4 cups in there. I'll pour slowly so we get good looking video.
That was good.
And then go ahead and stir that up. So You could put this on the stove, bring it to a simmer, manage it to a simmer. Frankly, that's a lot of work to pay attention to make sure it doesn't boil and get too hot or too cold or whatever. So I just set my oven to 200 and put it in there, and it's going to take about 4 hours, and this stuff's going to separate.
4 hours?
About 4 hours.
Wow.
It might be done sooner.
Yeah.
But we got time. We got briskets cooking. They're not going to be done anytime soon.
Again, the best thing comes to those who wait.
Okay, so we didn't get tallow last night.
Nope.
But we've got the tallow, it's done. Went ahead and left it in the oven, just sitting at 200 overnight. And you saw what it looked like when we started, right?
Yeah, before.
The big pile of white mush, right?
Yep. Ooh.
So here you see that the solids have separated.
Yeah.
Right? And that we have this kind of starting to be purish liquid going on right here, right? So what I'm gonna do is strain this a couple of times.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm gonna do is take out all of the big solids by just pouring it into here. And you see all those big fat solids are getting stuck in there.
I can see why sometimes we think maybe adding tallow makes something a bit too beefy because the smell already.
Yes,
You can
it does.
smell
It
beef,
is an
can't you?
intense flavor. Now, if you want to go ahead and stir and kind of push down, what we want to do is get the liquid
Down
to
to the
run
bottom.
down out. And we've got a bowl
problem.
that's probably up to about here. So
Yeah.
pushing it against the sides is going to be more productive.
No problem. So all this solid stuff, is it going to have any use or is this it?
This is done. This is not good for you. It's not tasty.
Okay.
And some of the solid stuff is still coming through, but that's okay. We're gonna filter again. All right, I think we've got a good amount there. We're gonna filter this into what's called a fat separator.
I'm kind of glad you're doing this bit, Al.
All right, now you see those solids that are on top are starting to block
Yeah.
what's going in. Have I filled it up already?
Almost.
All right, so as this strains down, we've got even more solids that we're pulling out. So we want to make sure we've got as much of it caught as we can. So we're going to pull the cheesecloth and the lid off together. All right, so now we're going to let this cool a little bit. And as it cools, the fat is going to separate so that the tallow and the water, any impurities are going to separate. And then we're going to be able to pull all of this out and separate it, and then we're going to fill these up
Okay.
with pure tallow.
Now, I never knew tallow existed. I've heard of lard and we've used lard, but I didn't know there was a beef version until we started this smoking journey.
Yes, this is different than just lard. Like, we're rendering out, so we're keeping good stuff and getting rid of bad stuff, right? So it's not like frying in lard. Tallow is delicious. I use it to make eggs in the morning. I use it on steaks. It's pretty versatile.
And in your Bar BBQ video, they even used tallow in the cookies, didn't they?
Absolutely, and they're so good. So like, never cooking with shortening if I'm making cookies again. I really shouldn't make cookies, and that was kind of bad for me because I'm a man of substantial stature, but you know, they're a weakness.
Cookies are good.
Right. We're just gonna drain this right into the jar. Or 11 hours and 40 minutes in.
Right.
172 degrees internal, so we're on our way up. You ready to see what it looks like?
Yeah.
It's gonna look very different.
Is it?
Based on how different it was at that 2-hour mark in here. Are you ready to see?
Ooh.
So now we're getting that dark Texas bark. The pullback is starting off of the ribs. By the time we're done, the meat is gonna be probably here. Right?
Oh, wow.
So you can see I've got about 1.5 inches in pullback on this side, a little bit less over here. It's all coming together. You've heard us talk about the stall on all these videos, right? So what happens is you reach a point where you're squeezing all of the moisture out, and that makes that muscle fiber tight. It's tight now. You would not want to chew this. It's like jerky, right? Once the water's evaporated out of here, then the collagen starts to render, everything starts to come together.
You get the good stuff.
And then you get the good stuff. So you're gonna go from this toughness, right? You're gonna get a little tougher, and then it's gonna turn into wonderful, yummy, juicy deliciousness.
Wow.
But we got a ways to go.
So am I right in saying it's like sweating?
Yeah.
When we get hot, we sweat, don't we?
We sweat and it cools us off.
Cools us off.
So that's why the temperature is going to stay here and then go up later. So let's give this another couple of hours. I don't even know that we're going to be done in 2 hours. I think it's probably going to take another probably 4 or 5 hours before we get to that point, but let's let it cook.
Fantastic.
And we'll see you guys in about 2 hours. All right, so we're at 15 hours. We said we thought it was going to be done. Let's see how close we are. Oh, boy, it looks spectacular.
Yes.
That's a hint. Did you see that?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna use this to kind of, oh yeah.
Butter.
All right, I want you to feel what this is supposed to feel like.
Oh my days, that is butter.
So notice I'm not even looking at the temperature now. Like all we care about is this texture, and this, it's like beef jello, right?
Wow.
So
That's incredible.
So this is time to pull and wrap and let it start to rest. Let's take this over to the island.
Let's do it.
Exciting, right?
Really exciting.
All right, so you have a glove on one hand?
I do, sir.
Literally want you to scoop it all out and drop it right in the middle.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you don't need a glove, but no, I don't honestly know what difference this makes, but everybody wraps their proteins with tallow, and when we did this at Bar A, he did this the same thing, put the tallow on the bottom.
Really?
And so maybe the tallow just mellows out or absorbs some of that beef flavor, some of that smoke flavor for when we pour it on later, but
Right.
it might or might not be necessary. Maybe that's another test we need to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull the meter out because at this point the meter doesn't matter. I mean, meter matters, but
Meter
the
matters,
temperature
yeah.
doesn't matter. And I'm just gonna wrap this up. And now we're just gonna take it in and throw it in the warmer.
Sounds good to me.
Let's go inside.
It's out of the warmer.
It's out of the warmer.
3 hours.
3 hours, so the warmer was at 150. Temperature came down nice and slowly to 150. The tallow's still under there, it's mellowed out a little bit.
You know what time it is now, don't you?
It's dinner time is what time it is.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so we're gonna open it up and we're gonna see. Did you get a whiff of that?
I got a whiff of that.
All right.
Oh, wow. That is a thing of beauty.
This makes me happy. I think we got a juicy beef rib. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right, the time you've been waiting for. You ready?
Yeah, we are ready.
All right. All right, here we go. Grab a hold.
I'm hoping mine's not going to fall off.
That is, yeah.
Cheers.
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 I can't believe this. Oh my god. Wow.
That doesn't taste like pellet grill, does it?
I would never have said that was a pellet grill.
That
Good.
tastes like heaven.
Oh. Give me a hug.
I'm telling you.
So we're just chilling. We're letting the beef ribs cook.
I suppose a good thing about smoking and cooking these meats, and maybe long rest periods on things like the beef rib, we're going to sit down and chill and talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of hanging out as part of barbecue.
And this is why we're enjoying it so much, because we're getting to really know Al and we're enjoying ourselves here, even Alana, who's currently eating her hair.
Is that hair as good as the beef?
No.
No, not as good. Or does it taste like beef? Did you get some beef juice on there? Is that why you're eating those?
I think so.
It's the smoke. It's the
It
smoke.
must be the smoke.
So Al, over the course of the couple of days, we've been cooking on various different smokers.
Right.
What's your favourite smoker to cook?
Oh boy, that's a hard question. You know, it depends on what I'm cooking. There's the latest addition to the family here is this Traeger pellet grill, which I've been a bigot against pellet grills for a long time, but I got to own this one. They heard I was making a Goldie's brisket. They sent it to me to cook it on there. It was the best brisket that either Nick or I had ever had. And so I kind of started to get respect for it. And I've been experimenting a lot.
This is my favorite Goldie's brisket you made.
And it's on a Traeger. I gotta tell you, the whole idea of being able to control it remotely via an app, not having to worry about running out of wood or the fire going down, knowing that it's gonna be okay, and turning out great food, I think the Traeger's probably my go-to favorite. Now, it's not gonna produce the same quality of food as a stick burner. There's an incremental difference, right? The question is, am I willing to work that hard to get that little bit extra? And it depends really on who I'm cooking for and what I'm cooking. A special occasion, I'm definitely cooking on the stick burner. Company coming over, I'm definitely taking out the stick burner. Doing a special dinner for my girlfriend, I'm definitely using the stick burner. But for everyday stuff, you know, I do a pork shoulder pretty much every week. Pulled pork's always in the fridge, and it's on the Traeger 100% of the time.
I've heard so much about offsets of stick burners and pellet grills, and pellet grills are like down here and stick burners up here. I appreciate there's a difference, but I'm a little bit skeptical.
So that's how I was. So here's the story of the pellet grill coming. We did the Goldies video, and that's how you and I met, was through the Goldies videos, right? I did it on the stick burner, and it came out beautifully, and a bunch of people asked, could you do this on a pellet grill? So talking to my friends at Meter about the fact that I was gonna do this, Meter's owned by Traeger, and they said, hey, as long as you're gonna do it, let us send you the grill that you should be doing it on. You know, I don't turn down free stuff, right? No. So this $3,800 grill showed up, which is like one of the coolest things about being in my business is I get to try all this stuff. And we started cooking on it, and sure enough, I was skeptical before we started, but you know, Nick wasn't skeptical, by the way. Nick was sure that it was going to do well, and it turned out he was right. So now it's not off in the corner. Like, it's in prime location. Yeah. We're making videos on it. I'm cooking on it all the time for myself. How do you feel about the fact that you don't get to use the flamethrower to light the Traeger?
I'm sure if Mr. H annoys me enough, I could burn some of his stuff.
Sure. Blink 3 times if you need help.
We're so chuffed that you took some time out of your busy schedule to see us. So the first thing, Al, we noticed about the channel, obviously, has to be the red hair.
Yes, I'm sorry that you didn't get to see the red hair in person.
But we did get to see it on the dog. Teddy have red hair.
Yes, so you at least got to see that.
And the second thing is your production. It is first class. If you haven't watched any of Eat More Vegans, I implore you to check out the link down below. Check them out. The production. Now, Nick, who appears occasionally on your channel, doing taste tests. Come on in, Nick.
Yeah, Nick is the secret to why our production is what it is. So, Nick, what's up, dude?
What's up?
Nick has been on the channel for, what, about 18 months now?
About that, yeah.
And first one I think you filmed was the collab we did with Bradley Robinson, right? Down in Austin, Texas.
110 degrees.
110 degrees outside in Austin. And he stuck around and stayed with me after that. I think it's part of what defines the channel. And I look good on camera, but I look good on camera because of this Marine right here.
He's a bit of an unsung hero because Nick is actually an ex-US Marine, so he's hard as nails. Hard as nails, does a fantastic job. You can tell you've done a lot of work in your production. You know, you're well trained, you drill things out in your head. You know, just watching you work in the background is like you produce, don't you, and direct.
I try.
Yeah. Guys, please comment down below. Thank Nick for his service, ex-US Marine. We love you, man.
Appreciate it. Love you.
Thanks for everything, dude.
An absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So, you know, I started the channel from the beginning with the idea that I was going to make this TV quality production on YouTube. And boy, I look back on those videos from 4 years ago. I did not accomplish that. But eventually I got there. Like, I learned what I was doing and what I wasn't doing. And I, more importantly, learned what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. So having a guy like Nick who went to film school, understands cinematography, understands how to write a script, understands how to tell a story visually. I'm a pretty good cook. This guy makes the production one that people want to watch.
Not only that, Nick was giving me lots of hints and tips about all the smoking as well. So he not only knows like production, but also barbecue, which is helpful.
So when Nick and I first met, he had this little portable Traeger that he liked, and then he ended up stepping up to Kamado Joe, like the one that we cooked the steaks on. So he barbecues at home now. now and has a couple of grills, and we'll probably end up with some additional ones and some new ones because people keep sending me grills and we need to fill up Nick's backyard like mine, right?
Nick's also very good at hide and seek and keeping into that.
Keeping
Yes.
Alana entertained, but that's when she's busy giggling.
Not only is he an ex-US Marine, videographer, he's also a childminder as well. So
Not even a dad yet.
yeah, man of many talents.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think he needs to get started though.
Now, talking about your channel a bit more, who do you make the videos for? What's your ideal viewer?
So my audience defined themselves before I understood what it meant. Like, I wasn't really surprised with a grilling channel to see 92% men. As I looked closer, the demographics are kind of, it's me and it's you, right? So it's dads that are between the ages of 35 and 55. We've still got a bunch that are under 35. We've got like none of the teenage crowd, right? None of the young millennial crowd. I don't think they just watch to learn how to cook. We like to learn tips and tricks from each other and pick up things, but people aren't watching for recipes. I think people like being part of a community of dads. Want to be about meat, I want to be about fire, I want to light my grill with a flamethrower, I want to cook on the biggest, baddest, right? I want to grind my pepper in a pepper cannon, right? And
Yeah.
like, I think I provide that backyard for them to hang out with each other and with me.
Yeah.
And they talk to each other in the comments, starting to do some of that stuff on Facebook so that they can start to communicate that way. As I was early in being a dad and early in the grilling community, my father passed away before I became a father, so I didn't have that, and I didn't really have a place to hang out with other dads that were doing this stuff. And now I get to hang out with them. And I've done that a couple of times. I've met up with viewers in different places where I've gone, and boy, they are the best people in the world.
Yeah.
Our channel's all about our community as well, but I think I love the fact that it is like men supporting men as well. There should be so much more of that, and we're lucky in our community that we've got everyone supporting everyone, but it's really nice to hear that you've got that as well.
We do. And by the way, the female viewers are very vocal. They're awesome. So like, one of my most avid viewers is a woman named Karen Wilson. She comments on every single one of my videos. I actually met her twice. She lives down in the Houston area.
Lovely.
And so when I went down there after filming the Goldies video, and then again after filming Bar A, we got together down there. But Karen first commented on a video, and I called the audience guys, right? I said, guys. She said, by the way, just so you know, my name's Karen, but I'm not that Karen. But I want you to know that in my family, I'm the pit master. And if you ask my husband and sons, like, they'll tell you that me on my big green egg, I'm the best, right? And so I replied to her and I said, all right, first of all, you kind of sound like you might be that Karen. But like, more power to you. Don't be offended. Like, this is what my audience looks like. But you can be one of the dads. And she said, you know what, I'm not offended by it. I'm just giving you a hard time. Some of those folks like Andrea Schenk and Karen and folks that hang out, I mean, as long as people aren't offended by guys being guys, like, this isn't toxic masculinity. This is masculinity. We're not doing anything that hurts anybody. As a matter of fact, I hope the dads that I'm teaching are cooking great meals for their families. Whether they're in a traditional household where mom usually makes dinner and they're giving her a break, or a more modern family where everybody's splitting the cooking, I'm hoping that they're contributing better and that everybody's benefiting. And if some of the women want to hang out and learn how to cook over live fire, I think that's a great thing.
I think that's an amazing thing. And the other thing is just something you can hand down to your children.
Absolutely.
You know, whether you got a son or daughter, you know, with Alana, we're going to be doing all weekend to teach her. Obviously, we've got the Franklin pit. It's a lifelong investment for us.
It absolutely is.
It's something that's going to last our lifetime, and you know, hopefully, we're going to pass down to Alana if she wants to carry the torch or the smoke.
Yes.
You know,
Fire thingy.
Yes.
I want her to go to school and go, that's my mummy on YouTube with that great big flamethrower. You know, yes, it's boys with toys. You know, you like to get your hands dirty, don't
Girls
you?
with grills.
There you go.
With grills.
So we're just talking about a couple of the collaborations that you've done, and for me, you've done some epic collaborations with some of my favourite pit masters.
Okay.
But who's next on your kind of ultimate hit list of people you'd like to collab with or do the Secrets of the Masters series?
There's a number of folks that have agreed to film with me that I don't want to give away all the secrets.
Yeah.
Of course.
But I will give you the holy grails, the ones that I haven't got yet,
Yep.
that I think will make just amazing episodes, amazing stories. So for you guys, if you haven't seen any of these, the Secrets of the Masters series, I discovered by accident that as a YouTuber that has high production value and tries to maintain culinary integrity, that I actually have a little bit of stature in the community that I didn't think I had, because I'm a regular guy. When I asked somebody, hey, will you teach me how to do this, I was really surprised at how quickly people started saying yes. And so eventually I said, hey, will you teach me how to do this on camera? And again, they said yes.
Wow.
And so the first thing was I wanted to learn how to do Argentine barbecue. Next thing was I wanted to learn how to make pastrami like a world-class pitmaster in New York City, Joe Carroll. And reading the comments, what I found was that my viewers really loved these as much as I did. I love it because, seriously, I got to go to New York and spend 2 days in the kitchen with Joe Carroll learning how to make the best pastrami in the world. I got to go and learn how to make the best Argentinian barbecue in the world. I got to go and spend time with Harry Sue learning how to do competition barbecue. Like, who gets to do those things? But the audience, because they're us, they get to live vicariously through me. So while they know, hey, they don't get to walk into Goldie's and say, hey, by the way, will you take 2 days out of your day and teach me how to make the #1 barbecue in Texas? They get to tag along with me, and it's like being there, right? And they get to meet these people. And so this has become my favorite series, and it's become the audience's favorite series. And so I want to do more and more of it, right?
Fantastic.
So I'm splitting this between folks that don't really have a name but have great, amazing talent, and folks that have big names and figuring out how they have big names for a reason. So I've got a couple smaller restaurants ready that we're going to be filming at, but then also I've got my dream list, right? So if you're watching, I really want to sit down with Tootsie Tominets and tell her story.
That would be amazing.
She is an icon.
Yeah.
She's a legend. She does things differently. Like the Hill Country barbecue style is different than the other stuff that we've been learning. If I can learn that stuff, I want to learn it from Tootsie. And I think the audience, including you guys, that's a show that we would watch. You guys got a Franklin barbecue pit. You guys got to meet Aaron Franklin, who was a big part of popularizing barbecue on a national and international basis. I've tasted his brisket and you've tasted his brisket, and let's just say he knows something about barbecue. I would love to do, and I got schooled by Aaron Franklin. I mean, there's some great ones. I'd like to maybe get out of just the barbecue niche. Like, I've got a wood-fired oven. Wouldn't it be cool to learn how to make pizza and learn how to do wood-fired cooking from a master, maybe over in Italy?
I know Nick would be interested in the pizza.
Nick would definitely be interested in the pizza.
And we have to say, just before we wrap up, Aaron was a lovely guy when he's very down to earth. He's obviously done 1,000 interviews, but really, really nice guy. And exactly the same off camera as he was on camera. It was very scary for us, nerve-wracking, but he put us at ease straight away.
Yep.
Lovely, lovely guy.
Awesome. Can I say something to your audience, by the way?
Yep.
So we've been chatting for months on WhatsApp and back and did a couple of calls and back and forth. Mostly I watch your videos, you watch my videos. This is what you get. What you see is what you get. We've hung out for a couple of days cooking now, and you guys are as authentic as they come. So if you as an audience feel like you're getting to know these folks and being part of their family, this is who they are. It's for real.
And again, the good folks at home, how can they find you, Al, and Eat More Vegans?
Oh, everything is at Eat More Vegans. So Instagram.com, Facebook.com is Eat More Vegans, and YouTube.com, of course, at Eat More Vegans. And that's where most of my content comes, but we're starting to build communities in other places. But love to have you guys stop by and say hi, and let me know that you saw me on this video.
If you enjoyed this video and like what we do, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified every time we take a bite out of America, and all that leaves this little British family to say is
Take care
God bless.
and see y'all in the next video.
Your husband maybe wasn't as good in the wrist as you are, so...
He's a lucky man.
4 hours, that's like 5 beers, right?
Maybe 6.
Okay, good.
It's like Obi-Wan and my Padawan. What we're gonna do now is a segment that on my show we call the food porn. It's the most watched segment. People go back and rewind and watch it again. And so we play music while so you've seen these and these, right? Yeah.
That is ridiculous.